The story of Emily Harper begins with a hook designed to captivate from the first moment. Imagine standing in the grand lobby of a five-star hotel you own. Watching your own family dismiss you as a failure. Unaware that you've built an empire they can't even fathom. This is the tale of Emily, a 35-year-old entrepreneur who rose from the ashes of her family's skepticism to redefine success on her own terms. All while keeping her triumphs hidden until a single night changed everything. Emily Harper grew up in the leafy suburbs of Chicago, Illinois, in a home where appearances and stability were everything. Her parents, William and Margaret Harper, ran a thriving financial advisory firm, securing their family a cushy upper-middle-class life filled with country club memberships and meticulously planned dinner parties. In this world, Emily's younger sister, Olivia, 3 years her junior, shone as the family's golden child. With her polished charm, striking beauty, and knack for navigating social circles, Olivia was the daughter who checked every box her parents valued: conventional success, predictable ambition, and an unwavering commitment to the path laid out for her. Emily, however, was the outlier, introspective, fiercely independent, and driven by dreams her family couldn't comprehend. At 17, Emily launched her first venture, designing and selling custom study planners to her high school peers. Each planner was a work of art, blending functionality with creativity, and it earned her a small but loyal following. But to her parents, it was a cute little project, at best. A distraction from serious pursuits at worst. Emily, why can't you focus on something practical? Her mother, Margaret, would sigh, catching her sketching business ideas late into the night. Look at Olivia, she's already planning for top-tier colleges. Building connections, that's how you get ahead. The dismissal stung, but it only fueled Emily's resolve. While Olivia joined the debate team and dated the lacrosse team captain, Emily was quietly mapping out a future far beyond the expectations of her family's narrow worldview. The rift widened when Emily announced her plan to study hospitality management and entrepreneurship at college, rejecting the accounting or law degrees her parents deemed respectable. At a tense family dinner, her father, William, didn't mince words. Hospitality? That's not a real career, Emily, he said, his voice heavy with disappointment. You want to run a hotel? What's next? Scrubbing floors for a living? We raised you for better than that. The words cut deep, but Emily stood her ground. Unlike Olivia, whose Ivy League education would be fully funded by their parents, Emily was told she'd have to pay her own way through college. It was a challenge she accepted without hesitation. To make ends meet, Emily juggled 3 jobs. Mornings at a hotel front desk, afternoons in lecture halls, and evenings waiting tables at an upscale downtown restaurant. Those years were grueling, long hours, sleepless nights, and a constant battle to prove herself. But they were also transformative, teaching her the grit and ingenuity no textbook could. In her junior year, she met Professor Claire Bennett, a hospitality management expert who saw something special in Emily. You have a rare gift, Claire told her after Emily presented a case study on revitalizing struggling hotels. Most people see properties as they are. You see what they could become. Under Claire's mentorship, Emily landed a coveted internship at the Prestige Hotel Group during her senior year. While other interns were relegated to fetching coffee or filing paperwork, Emily immersed herself in the company's operations, analyzing inefficiencies and drafting proposals for improvement in her spare time. One day, she accidentally left a detailed report on the desk of Michael Reynolds, the regional director, expecting a reprimand for overstepping. She was stunned when he called her into his office. This analysis is sharper than what I get from consultants I pay 6 figures for, he said, tapping her report. We need minds like yours. He offered her a junior management role upon graduation, a rare opportunity for someone her age. When Emily shared the news with her parents, their response was predictably tepid. Well, at least it's a steady job, her mother said, before pivoting to gush about Olivia's acceptance into a prestigious MBA program. Management trainee isn't exactly CEO material, but it's a start. Disheartened, Emily stopped sharing her milestones. Her family didn't know when she was promoted to hotel manager at 28. Or when she designed a guest loyalty program that boosted Prestige's revenue by 17%. They were clueless when, at 30, she left to start her own boutique hotel consulting firm. Or when she secured investors to purchase her first property, a faded Chicago landmark called the Aurora Hotel. The Aurora was a relic of grandeur. Bleeding money for years, Emily saw its potential where others saw ruin. She poured her heart into renovating it, rebranding it as a luxury boutique destination that became the talk of Chicago's elite. Within 2 years, she acquired a second property, then a third, building a portfolio of 9 high-end hotels across the Midwest by her 35th birthday. The Aurora, her crown jewel, doubled as her personal residence, with a sleek penthouse suite offering sweeping views of the Chicago skyline. Yet, in her family's eyes, Emily remained the underachiever, scraping by in some mid-level hotel job, barely making ends meet. She distanced herself from family gatherings, citing work commitments that were only half true. In secret, she supported them financially, funding a lavish Alaskan cruise for her parents' 30th anniversary, sending generous holiday checks, and quietly bolstering their retirement fund, all under the guise of anonymous benefactors. Emily never corrected their assumptions about her life. Their indifference spoke volumes, revealing more about their priorities than her worth. Besides, there was a certain power in her silence, in letting them underestimate her while she built an empire. Outside her family, Emily found a kindred spirit in Daniel Carter, a former Secret Service agent turned security chief for the Aurora. With a sharp mind and a degree in risk management, Daniel became her closest ally, sharing her vision for unparalleled guest experiences. Their friendship, rooted in mutual respect, filled a void her family had left. Emily dated sparingly, her focus laser-sharp on her business. Her hotels became her legacy, her staff her extended family, a community that celebrated her achievements in ways her blood relatives never did. As her father's 65th birthday approached, Emily felt a pull to reconnect. She hadn't attended a family event in nearly 3 years, and this milestone seemed like a chance to bridge the gap between the daughter they dismissed and the woman she'd become. Little did she know, the celebration would ignite a revelation so dramatic it would shatter decades of misconceptions, setting the stage for a reckoning no one could have predicted. Picture this: a glittering Chicago evening, snowflakes dancing under the glow of a historic hotel's Art Deco facade, and a family gathering poised to unravel decades of secrets. Emily Harper, now 35, stood on the cusp of a moment that would redefine her place in her family forever. The occasion? Her father William Harper's 65th birthday, celebrated at the Aurora Hotel's exclusive restaurant, a venue her family had no idea she owned. What unfolded that night wasn't just a party, it was a masterclass in turning years of dismissal into a stunning revelation. Delivered with the precision of a Broadway finale. Buckle up, because this story will keep you hooked until the very last word. The build-up to the birthday bash began weeks earlier with a group text from Emily's mother, Margaret, planning a surprise dinner for Dad's 65th at either La Bella Vita or the Aurora Hotel's restaurant. Thoughts? Emily's heart skipped a beat. The Aurora, her Aurora, was in the running. For a fleeting moment, she considered spilling the truth right then. But a deeper instinct took hold. After years of her family's condescension, the idea of revealing her success in person, at the heart of her empire, felt like poetic justice. The Aurora has a stellar reputation, she texted back, playing it cool. Their private dining room is top-notch. Margaret's reply was predictably dismissive. It's pricey. Probably out of our budget. And yours. Obviously. The jab didn't surprise Emily, it was par for the course. I could help with costs, she offered, only to be shut down. We don't need handouts, Emily. Olivia's doing well at her firm and will cover half. We'll manage. Swallowing a retort, Emily saw an opportunity. I might swing some industry discounts, she suggested, knowing full well she controlled every detail at the Aurora. Margaret grudgingly agreed, giving Emily the opening she needed. That afternoon, she called her general manager, Lucas Bennett. Lucas, my family's booking Dad's birthday dinner at our restaurant next month. They have no clue I own the place. Lucas chuckled. That's either fate or genius timing. Both, Emily replied. Here's the plan. When they call for the Thompson party, give them the Sterling suite, full service. Premium everything. Quote them half the actual cost. I'll cover the rest anonymously. And don't acknowledge me as the owner when I arrive. I'll pick the moment to drop the bombshell. Lucas agreed, and Emily set the stage for a night her family would never forget. Over the next few weeks, Emily orchestrated every detail from behind the scenes. Her mother called repeatedly, nitpicking the menu and questioning the surprisingly affordable rate for such a prestigious venue. Emily's executive chef, Sofia Alvarez, crafted a bespoke menu featuring William's favorite dishes, from herb-crusted rack of lamb to a bourbon-infused chocolate torte. Emily ensured his preferred Napa Valley Cabernet was decanted to perfection. She even arranged for a jazz trio to play softly in the background. Knowing her father's love for Miles Davis. All the while, her family remained oblivious, their assumptions about her struggling career intact. A week before the event, Olivia called Emily, her tone dripping with skepticism. So, you're actually showing up for Dad's birthday? Mom says you pulled some discount at the Aurora. How do you manage that? It's not like you're their VIP. The dig was classic Olivia, and Emily resisted the urge to come clean. I've done some consulting for hotel groups, she said vaguely. Industry perks. Olivia scoffed. Well, dress appropriately. The Aurora's upscale. I could lend you something if you need it. Emily glanced at the custom Carolina Herrera gown hanging in her closet and smiled. I'll manage. Olivia's parting shot? Just don't embarrass us. Those words would soon haunt her. The night before the dinner, Margaret called with last-minute changes. We've added a few guests, the Wilsons, Dad's old business partner, and the Thompsons from the neighborhood. Oh, and Olivia's bringing her new boyfriend, Ethan, a VP at her hedge fund. Very impressive. Emily assured her the Sterling suite could handle the extra guests. But Margaret fretted about costs. I know you offered to help, but maybe just cover the tip for the servers. That way, you won't strain your budget. Emily bit her tongue. Sure, Mom, I'll handle the gratuity. After hanging up, she sat in her penthouse office, the Chicago skyline twinkling below, and called Daniel Carter, her security chief. Tomorrow's the night, she told him. I need you at the entrance when I arrive. It's going to be theatrical. Daniel's deep laugh echoed through the phone. You're sure about this? It's bold. They've written the script, Emily replied. I'm just directing the finale. The evening of William's birthday arrived like a scene from a Hollywood drama. A light snow dusted the Aurora's restored facade, its brass accents gleaming under the chandeliers. Emily had planned to arrive separately, claiming a work emergency to justify her slight delay. In truth, she wanted to observe her family's entrance via the hotel's security cameras. Dressed in a floor-length emerald Oscar de la Renta gown, elegant, understated, but unmistakably luxurious, she sat in her private office off the main kitchen, sipping a glass of sparkling water as the monitors flickered to life. Her family arrived 45 minutes early, a testament to Margaret's obsession with punctuality. Margaret, in a dated navy Chanel suit she reserved for special occasions, immediately began inspecting the lobby's marble floors and crystal vases. Her lips pursed in approval. William, looking slightly out of place in his best suit, kept adjusting his tie, his eyes wide as he took in the restored frescoes Emily had commissioned from a local artist. Olivia swept in moments later with Ethan, both dressed like they were attending a Met Gala afterparty. Olivia took charge, barking orders at the concierge as if she owned the place, her voice carrying across the lobby. Lucas, ever the professional, greeted them with a warm smile and escorted them to the Sterling suite, where chilled Dom Perignon and caviar canapés awaited, a spread far grander than the budget package Margaret had booked. Emily smirked as her mother's jaw dropped on the security feed. Sophia, the chef, poked her head into Emily's office. Everything's set, Miss Harper. The Cabernet's been decanting for 3 hours. And we've got your dad's favorite single malt scotch for the toast. Perfect. Sophia, time for my entrance. Emily texted Daniel to take his post at the main entrance, then slipped out via her private elevator. circling around to approach the lobby like any other guest. Her timing was impeccable. She arrived just as the Wilsons and Thompsons were checking in. Lingering near the grand staircase, she watched the guests head toward the restaurant. Then, like a scripted twist, Olivia emerged from a hallway, her eyes locking onto Emily with a predatory glint. "Emily, you actually showed up," Olivia said, her smile more sneer than welcome. She scanned Emily's gown, her gaze lingering on the diamond drop earrings, real, not borrowed, though Olivia clearly assumed otherwise. "Wow, you cleaned up nice. Renting designer now?" Emily kept her composure. "Good to see you too. Olivia, you look great." Olivia's frown deepened, as if annoyed by Emily's calm. "Mom was worried you'd flake or show up in some thrift store disaster. Where are you even working these days?" Before Emily could respond, Margaret appeared, her face a mask of irritation. "Emily, finally, we've been here forever." Her eyes flicked to Daniel, who had just entered in a tailored black suit, exuding quiet authority. "And who's this? We didn't plan for extra guests." "This is Daniel Carter, head of security for the Aurora." Daniel interjected smoothly. "I need a quick word with Miss Harper." Margaret's expression shifted to mortification. "Security? Emily, what have you done?" Olivia stepped in front of Emily, physically blocking her path, as if guarding the restaurant from an intruder. "Is there an issue with her reservation?" she asked Daniel. Ignoring Emily entirely. "We can cover her share if that's the problem." Margaret leaned in, her whisper slicing through the lobby's hum. "Emily, don't humiliate us. If you're short on cash again, you should have said something before coming to a place like this." The lobby fell silent, guests and staff pausing to watch the drama unfold. Lucas, stationed near the restaurant, caught Emily's eye, his lips twitching with amusement. She gave him a subtle nod, signaling the moment had arrived. Daniel's voice cut through the tension. "Actually, I needed to inform Miss Harper that her special arrangements for tonight are in place. Per her instructions." Margaret blinked, confused. "Special arrangements? What's she talking about?" Olivia rolled her eyes. "Probably begged for the cheapest wine or something." "Can we get back to the party? Ethan's telling Dad about his new Tesla." Daniel cleared his throat, his tone commanding attention. "Mrs. Harper, Miss Olivia, you may not realize you're currently blocking the owner of this hotel from entering her own establishment." The silence was deafening. Margaret froze, her clutch slipping from her hand. Olivia turned slowly, her face a mix of disbelief and dawning horror. "Excuse me?" she whispered. Lucas stepped forward, extending a hand to Emily with practiced deference. "Miss Harper, the Sterling Suite is ready for your father's celebration. The chef has incorporated your requests. And the 1985 Chateau Margaux you chose from your personal cellar pairs perfectly with the lamb." Margaret's face drained of color. "Your personal cellar?" Emily smiled, stepping around her stunned sister. "Yes, Mom. From my wine collection here at the Aurora. I've been meaning to mention, I own this hotel. Plus the Meridian in Milwaukee and 7 others across the Midwest." Olivia's mouth opened, then closed, like a fish out of water. Margaret gripped a nearby chair for support. "That's impossible," she stammered. "And yet, here we are," Emily said, gesturing toward the restaurant. "Shall we join Dad?" As they walked, every staff member they passed greeted Emily by name. "Good evening, Miss Harper. Lovely to see you." A chorus of respect that made denial futile. Just before entering the Sterling Suite, Olivia grabbed Emily's arm, her nails digging in. "Why didn't you tell us?" she hissed. Emily met her gaze evenly. "You never asked," she said simply, then stepped into the room to greet her father, whose bewildered expression marked the start of a night that would change everything. The rest of the evening played out like a surreal drama. William, initially speechless at the staff's deference to Emily, warmed to the revelation, his shock giving way to a quiet pride. "So, this is why you've been so cagey about work," he said during a private moment by the dessert table. "You own all this?" "This and more," Emily confirmed. "Why hide it?" he asked, genuinely puzzled. "At first, I wasn't sure I'd succeed. Later, it was clear you all had a fixed idea of who I was. It was easier to let you believe it than fight for validation." William nodded, his face heavy with realization. We didn't make it easy for you to share, did we? Margaret, meanwhile, oscillated between forced civility and barely concealed betrayal. Her smiles brittle as she fielded questions from guests like the Wilsons, who were fascinated by Emily's success. Olivia alternated between awkward attempts to bask in her sister's glow and sulky withdrawal, her boyfriend Ethan looking increasingly uncomfortable. By midnight, as the party wound down, Emily ensured every guest left with a luxury gift bag and a chauffeured ride home. William hugged her tightly, whispering, "I'm proud of you, Em." Margaret's goodbye was stiffer, her lips tight. Olivia lingered, struggling for words. "So, all those times we thought you couldn't afford family trips or gifts. I was building this," Emily finished, gesturing to the opulent surroundings. "And I did contribute, those Christmas checks. The Alaskan cruise for Mom and Dad's anniversary? All me." Olivia's eyes widened. "Mom said those were from a random uncle." Emily laughed mirthlessly. Of course she did. Alone in her penthouse that night, Emily poured a glass of the Chateau Margaux and debriefed with Daniel. "How do you feel?" he asked, loosening his tie. "Vindicated. But also, sad," she admitted. "They had every chance to see me. And they chose not to." Daniel nodded. "What's next when the shock wears off?" Emily set down her glass. "Resolute. Boundaries. Clear, firm boundaries. This isn't about revenge. It's about respect I should have had all along." The aftermath was a slow, transformative journey. William was the first to bridge the gap, visiting the Aurora regularly to learn about Emily's business model. "I was wrong," he admitted over coffee in her office. "You've built something extraordinary." Their relationship grew into one of mutual respect, with William offering financial advice as a peer, not a critic. Margaret's shift was slower, her initial sense of betrayal giving way to reluctant curiosity. She began recommending the Aurora to her country club friends, a small but significant gesture. During a family dinner months later, she invited Emily to a charity gala, not for her wealth but for her passion for women's entrepreneurship, a subtle but meaningful change. Olivia remained the toughest nut to crack. At first, she tried to leverage Emily's success, suggesting family discounts for her firm's events. Emily shut it down firmly. "The Aurora doesn't do special rates. But your firm can book like any client." After tense conversations, Olivia began to acknowledge the family's unequal treatment. They collaborated on a charity event at the Aurora, a tentative step toward a more equitable bond. "We're better when we're not competing," Olivia admitted. "Always were," Emily replied. "We just never tried." On the personal front, Emily's life flourished. She consulted Dr. Lauren Mitchell, a therapist, to navigate her family dynamics constructively. She founded the Harper Women in Hospitality Foundation, offering scholarships and mentorship to young women in the industry, turning her struggles into systemic change. Her relationship with James Callahan, a preservation architect she met during a hotel renovation, brought balance to her life. James respected her drive, their shared passion for creating beauty from neglected spaces fostering a deep connection. Daniel was promoted to Chief Operations Officer, overseeing Emily's growing empire of 9 hotels. The lesson Emily learned wasn't about making her family regret their doubts. It was about living so authentically that their opinions became irrelevant. "True success isn't their applause," she'd say. "It's the life you build on your terms, for those underestimated by the ones who should believe in them most." Emily's story is a rallying cry. Respond with determination. Carve your own path, and create space for your worth to be seen. If this resonates, drop a comment below. Have you ever been doubted by those closest to you? How did you rise above? Hit like, subscribe, and share to spread this story of triumph. Until next time, live your truth, and let the doubters catch up.